I need you to stop getting in the shower and putting on dirty drawers. Welcome into Mentor Monday. If you're new here, I am your student mentor, Backpack Jeff, and I'm here to help you get in your bag. Now, whether you're trying to level up in your academics, in your personal life, or in your career, we provide education, resources, and the mindset shift that you need every single week to make sure that you transition confidently into the next phase of your life. Today, we are talking about mindset. Listen, this is going to be one of the most important episodes ever. So I need you to star it. I need you to like it. I need you to share it with somebody else who's also going to resonate with this message. Because here's the thing, if your mindset's not right, nothing else will be. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over 4 tips that's going to help you get in the right mindset so that you can stay in your bag and you never got to chase a bag. All right, let's talk about it. Tip number 1 is we have to learn how to embrace failure. Now, listen, no one likes to fail, and we all know that. But let me tell you about this guy, Michael Jordan. Maybe you've heard of him, the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. And I don't want to hear none of you LeBron fans in the comments right now talking about LeBron is the GOAT. No, he's not. It's Jordan and always be Jordan, all right? No, but look, we got to learn how to embrace failure, y'all. Michael Jordan, literally, he embraced failure throughout the early part of his basketball career. Did you know that he was cut from the basketball team? Imagine that. Michael Jordan, someone literally looked at Michael Jordan and said, nah, he ain't really that good. But the one thing that never changed with Michael Jordan is that he never gave up. When you fail, and you are inevitably going to fail, it's a part of the process. And I think what happens a lot of times is we underestimate the amount of failures, struggles, trials, and tribulations that we're going to go through as we are in pursuit of something that we're trying to accomplish. What you got to do is you got to have that Jordan mentality, or you got to have that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, and you have to learn how to embrace failure. You'll learn much more from failure than you ever will from success. I mean, think about it. Look at my man Thomas Edison, the guy who invented all of these light bulbs. He said, I didn't fail. I learned 10,000 ways that didn't work. So when you fail, and undoubtedly you are going to, I want you to embrace it and ask yourself, what can I take from this and what can I learn from this? Because behind every single failure is a lesson that you need for the next part of your life. Tip number 2 for developing a winning mindset is stay consistent. Yes, we've got to learn how to stay consistent. Even when it doesn't look like it's going to work out, even when there are no results to prove that what you're doing is a good idea, you've got to stay consistent. Y'all ever heard this story about a Chinese bamboo tree and how nothing happens or nothing shows out of the ground with this bamboo tree for 5 years? But every single day you've got to show up and you've got to water it, you've got to nourish it, and you have to make sure that it is getting everything that it needs. But what happens on that 5th year is something miraculous. In just about 6 weeks, it ends up growing 90 feet tall. Y'all, you've got to stay consistent and you've got to show up. A great poet friend of mine, his name is Orville the Poet, shout out to Big O. He's got this saying, and I love this saying. He says, consistency will change whatever league you're in. Let me tell you, when it don't feel good, when you don't feel like it, this is where champions are made, because they stay consistent. Sometimes you don't feel like working out. Sometimes you don't feel like reading, but you gotta make sure that you stay consistent. If you want to develop a winning mindset, you gotta embrace failure and you gotta stay consistent. All right, tip number 3, y'all, you've gotta have a vision, and you've gotta have a bigger vision than your setbacks. Think about this. My girl Oprah, I be talking to her a lot. I don't really, but I just be saying to myself, I do. My girl Oprah, she had this vision of being this talk show host. And imagine Oprah getting fired. So just like Michael Jordan got kicked off of his JV basketball team, Oprah Winfrey, the most successful reporter that we've ever known, literally got fired, but that didn't stop her, y'all. You know why? Because she had vision. When having vision, you've got to be able to live in your future life and not in your right now, okay? So with having vision, I want you to operate in your right now, but I need you to see your future life. I need you to see what your life could be later on down the road, and that's going to give you courage in order to continue to operate, because it might not look like what you want it to look like right now, but your vision says, you know what, there are things that are better that I'm going towards, okay? So always make sure that as you're operating in a better mindset and a winning mindset, that you're keeping your vision at the forefront. And you got to make sure that you have a vision and you got to make it plain. A lot of people, they decide to have a vision, take a vision, and they just say, I want to be happy or I want to make more money. Now, that's super vague, and we'll talk about goals next week. But I want you to be specific about what you want that vision to look like, about what you want your life to look like. Walt Disney, he has this philosophy about creating and how he created Disney, the Disney brand, ESPN, all of these different things. And he said the first thing that he does is he just allows himself to dream and have a vision without constraints. Too many of us are dreaming with constraints, and we start talking ourselves out of the things that we can do. I don't want you to talk yourself out of it. I want you to talk yourself into it. Talk yourself into your bag, man. Let's go. We got to develop this winning mindset. What the heck was that? Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. Yes, you know what that means. It is time for our word of the week. All right, let's go over here. Let's go in our bag real quick. Word of the week. The word of the week this week is courage. All right, courage. Now, this isn't the dictionary definition for the word courage, but this is something that I heard from my mentor, Les Brown. He said, courage is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. Can you fail today and still wake up tomorrow with the same amount of enthusiasm and the same level of intensity? Can you knock on one door, they tell you no, and then you go knock on the second door with that same level or with even more intensity or enthusiasm? Can you embrace and can you go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm? Y'all, you've got to have the courage to have a vision. You've got to have the courage to pursue the vision. You've got to have the courage to make the vision come true. It's Backpack, y'all. We got one more tip. Stay with me. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Stay with me. We got one more tip. Let's talk about it. All right, now the last tip that I got for you is you got to embrace fear. No fear, y'all. No fear. Listen, Will Smith, he's one of my favorite actors in the whole entire world. And before he went skydiving when he's 50 years old, he talked about it on this TV interview where he had to learn how to embrace fear and how he almost allowed fear to stop him from jumping out of the plane altogether. Now, and what he said was, after he jumped out of the plane, he realized that there was nothing to be afraid of. And on the other side of fear is everything that he ever wanted. I want to tell you the same thing. On the other side of fear is everything that you want. So much so that I even jumped out of an airplane myself. I'm gonna put the video right here. Yeah, that was pretty fire, wasn't it? Y'all, I jumped out of an airplane and I had no fear. And in fact, when I landed after 12 minutes, I never felt more alive in my whole entire life. You've got to embrace fear. And think about it this way. When you're creating your vision, if your vision doesn't absolutely scare you, then you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to dream bigger, because you're not dreaming big enough. Because if it scares you, that's how you know you're going in the right direction. Don't do something that just feels comfortable, that you already know you can win at. Go back and look at the moral stories about the young kid in the race. You gotta embrace life and move in spite of fear. So let's wrap this back up. To develop that winning mindset, I need you to do 4 things. I need you to embrace failure. It's okay if you fail. You're gonna fail. Know you're going to fail and keep moving in spite of. You got to stay consistent. That means every single day you got to show up, even when you don't want to, even when you don't feel like it. You got to show up and you got to have a vision and dream without any limitations. And then finally, you've got to have no fear. If you're going down that dark hallway and you know that it's a little bit frightening and you might have to do it by yourself and other people don't understand, that's okay. They're not supposed to understand. It's for you to understand. All right. So I want you to take all of these things. I want you to put these in your bag and I want you to use them. Now, here's what I want you to do. You've made it this far to the video. I want you to comment below which one of these you're going to work on first. And I want you to share this with someone who can use this. Going into 2025, we've got to learn to develop a winning mindset. We can't win in 2025 being the same person we were in 2024, even if we had a great 2024. Now, my philosophy is winners winners write history, losers become a part of the story. I want you to write your own history because I know no one is going to write your story the way that you would want it to be written. And if you allow them to write it, they're not going to write the ending the way that you would want it. I'm Backpack Jeff. Take this, put it in your bag, and let's start winning in 2025. It's time to thrive, baby. Let's go.